is amazing.
All right, guys, we are officially live and we are back with a TCC recap. We are getting close to the halfway mark on the Dre Media journey of the all male season leader of the pack. And tonight we have quite a few people. So, welcome back, Noah.
What's
How you
up?
feeling tonight?
I feel amazing. I feel great. I'm coming off of a great weekend. I feel good. Watch the episode, have some feelings, some thoughts.
Yes. We're gonna jump right into that. Welcome back, Jason. How you feeling tonight?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Dre. Excited to be on with this all-star cast with me here tonight. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. And of course, we have Kevin.
Hey guys, part two. I'm gonna leave in an hour again, so sorry, but hello.
It's okay. We'll try to get as much in as we can. And then all the way from the Bay, of course, we had to bring in Zay. What's up, Zay? How are you today?
I'm doing good. It's my first time ever doing an after show on any of the seasons I competed on, so I'm ready. I'm excited to be put on the spot and answer any questions that people want to ask me.
Yes. Okay. I'm excited to have you. I didn't even realize that it is your first like after show because we didn't do a reunion your season, and yeah, we didn't really. Well, you didn't get a chance to get on the after shows on your season. But all right, let's jump right into this recap. We start off where we left off, which was Kevin and the Secret Six basically blindsiding Steven and Noah. So it's Noah, you're going into your first elimination. You're like, I need the pep talk. I just need your guys' advice. I need you guys to hype me up. What was going through your mind in that scene?
So in that moment, I really had no idea like where my head was at. I had no idea like what exactly was going on. But I was like, I can't really dwell on and really I really can't like sit here and ask questions because I don't know what kind of elimination this is going to be. And like looking at the first one, it's endurance, looking at the second one's a puzzle. So I can only kind of expect that the third one is going to be a physical elimination. So I'm like, okay, so it's probably going to be a pole wrestle. I need to get in that headspace because I am like I just need to get in that headspace because if I'm too like happy go lucky, then I'm not going to give it my all out there. So I had to like try to build up some anger and just kind of hold on to that and use that to kind of push me forward.
So we see Zay making some faces. We have some dialogue and drama between you two. Zay, in that moment, watching it back, we see a scene of Noah, sorry, cursing you out, telling you basically fuck you, and we just see you guys going back and forth a little bit. What was going through your mind when Noah was going off on you?
I think what was going through my mind was the fuck this motherfucker, like, because it was like a slap in the face to see him hug Jason and Kevin, and then me being like a real friend outside of the game, going in for a hug for him to say fuck you to my face. It was kind of like, damn, what the fuck did I do? Like, I wasn't even the one that said your name. But yeah, that's pretty much like, I guess.
So I'm gonna bounce back to Noah about this. Watching it back, do you stand by saying that, or do you feel like you were wrong? Because again, Zay, you said you're here to be put on the spot. You're here to answer any questions. You did throw Noah's name out there when you were in the pack. So do you guys feel like it was a miscommunication? Have you guys hashed it out? Where do you guys stand? And we'll start with Noah. Do you still stand by what you said?
In the moment, yes. In now present, absolutely not. Because when you're in the game and when you're doing this, emotions are high, tensions are high, like people like there's high stakes. So you're not really thinking like with the clear mind. Like sometimes you just don't think with the clear mind. And in that moment, I wasn't thinking with a clear mind. I wasn't expecting Kevin to say my name. So I was like, looking down, and I know, Kevin, like we talked about this, you were trying to signal to me to try to tell me I'm going to say your name, but like literally I was like looking at the ground, and this is something Zay and I both talked about like multiple times after the fact, but when Kevin said my name, I was legit shook. So like I made a whole ass reaction of like, what the fuck? And I'm looking at all three, and there's Kevin who looks remorseful, there's Jason who looks like remorseful, and then there's Zay with a big ass grin on his face, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and in that moment, I'm not thinking clearly. I'm not going to sit there and be like, why are you smiling? Because in my head, I'm like, you just like pitched me to go into this elimination. So you are the reason why I'm going into the elimination. So like, even when I got up to kind of to talk to them, Kevin gave me a hug. Jason, I believe he gave me a hug. And Zay's just still standing there with that goofy ass grin on his face. And so I'm thinking he's behind it. So I said, fuck you. I said, fuck you. And I walked away. And then he starts running his mouth. So I started running my mouth. And then I'm like, because I was so fucking confused by that. Because again, I only know what I know. And I knew that like two of my, two in my head, my strongest allies are in this like wolf pack. I just did the challenge to Kevin, like, somewhat. I probably would have got one or two wrong, so it is what it is. But like, I just got my name tossed out, and now I'm going to elimination. So my head just wasn't really there, and I just popped off on Zay because, like, what y'all don't know is like me and Zay talked every single day leading up to going on the show. And I'm not talking about like little talks. Like we had deep talks about deep things, and like on a friendship level. Like I think just from the way both of us were brought up and the area that we were brought up in, isn't like a normal really environment, and it's a very like it's just a very unique thing that unless you're from like the Bay Area and specifically exactly where we're both from, it's something that you don't really like. There's just our paths were very parallel. So I thought going into this game that I was going to be Zay's number one. And, because that was just the way I was going in as a rookie, not knowing that Zay had all these other things. So yeah, so I'll say that. Zay?
What's the question?
So watching it back, how do you feel about the whole situation? Like, do you feel that you did play a part in sending him in, even though Kevin said the name, you pitched it? Do you understand where he's coming from, and how do you feel about it after rewatching it?
Yeah, I understand, and I feel like I would have done the same exact thing because in that moment, Noah didn't know or doesn't know that I already knew that he told Steven that I was the one pushing his name, or like I was the one that whispered to James that he was the name. So in that moment, Noah's like going off on me thinking that I did something to him, but little did he know that I already knew the information that he pulled the previous round. So we were limited on options regardless, so it kind of would have leaned towards Noah or Steven regardless. And so I think I just helped push Noah's name a little bit, because if I knew that you were going to be sneaky or shady that previous round, what else are you going to do going forward? And now you're part of the sixth, being the seventh member. Are you going to throw us under the bus too going forward? That's where my thought process was.
So
but I still stand by pushing his name because I didn't trust him anymore.
Which is confusing for me in you saying that you didn't trust me, because you and Kevin both whispered James's name to Steven. So Steven's looking, to James. You both pitched Steven's name to James.
But you only knew I did that, or else I would assume.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I only knew you did that because I saw you do it. And so I was really confused because in my head, I'm like, I only know what I know. And I know that there are 7 of us who in my head, again, are working together. So why are you whispering Steven's name to somebody who is not part of that 7? Got me confused. So when I talked to Steven and I was asking Steven, like, Steven was like, why'd you say my name first? I said, well, like I panicked and I just said, well, I saw Zay whisper your name. So I was guessing Zay knew something I didn't. And that's exactly what I said. I didn't say, oh, Zay told me to tell your name. I told Steven, I saw you mouth his name to James. Now we then find out in episode 2 that James and Steven are actually in an alliance together. So I'm guessing no matter what, James would have told Steven anyway that you said his name.
So
it just for me because I had an alliance with Steven.
In the past conversation, Jason, you said you did hear this. Did you just tag along to hop on it, or do you remember this? Did you actually hear this conversation?
Respectfully, nobody was around when I was talking to Steven because we were talking in the kitchen.
I don't remember, to be honest with you. If I said it in that moment, though, I probably had heard from someone else. Like I wouldn't have just like piggybacked onto it. I probably had heard it from somewhere or from someone, maybe secondhand. But I didn't just make it up and say like, yeah, I heard that too. Like I wouldn't have said that. So I definitely I don't remember exactly what happened. But if Noah says nobody was there, then maybe I heard it secondhand before. But I did hear it from somewhere. I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha. So, Kevin, watching this back, seeing Noah's reaction, and he's going to his first elimination, watching it back, do you regret your decision? Are you sorry about it? Do you feel bad? Where do you stand watching this back? Do you wish you did anything differently, or do you feel like you had to do that regardless?
I feel like I said this last time. I feel like I did have to do it regardless. Like some sort of combination of Noah, Cam, Joel, or Sivo were going to have to go in. Like it had to be one of them. I couldn't say any of them. My relationships were all strong with them. Like it had to happen to somebody. And unfortunately at that time, it was just easiest because the other two guys in there with me were just as willing. So I do feel bad about it. I regret it. I think Noah's face when he heard his name like really will haunt me for the rest of my life because it's one of the worst things that I've done to somebody.
Can we have a close-up of that? Because I do want to see it.
Oh yeah. It was just the same. I saw it again. But I will repay the favor obviously in the future. That's how I roll. And doing something like that, like it does hurt. I do have a heart at the end of the day. So I would do it differently, but it's gonna be like hurting the same next person in line, so it's just one of those game things that has to be done.
Yeah, for sure.
So Kevin, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Okay, so because if I remember and I recall, like I remember us kind of talking and saying that like Jason and Nate was like was going to look good. Good elimination match. If you guys knew that you guys wanted to see both of them together, why wasn't that shot taken on a physical elimination? Like if we had an idea if it was going to be physical, like wasn't that shot taken the third round instead of the fourth?
I honestly think at that point in the game, like it was fresh after those 2 rounds where they just had our backs. So like doing something so cutthroat immediately, first chance you get, kind of makes more of a line than it already would be. So obviously not to hurt anybody's feelings or come off like, oh, I'm going to stab you right in the back the next chance I get, or like make a decision that I haven't really even talked to my 6 about. I didn't say that with Zay, like this is what we're going to do this round, like we're going to take the reins, we're going to make sure it's Nate versus Jason. It probably would have been a nice round to do it, but did we have the groundwork ready to do it? Probably not. Were people ready to do it after winning the challenges with them? Probably not. So I think sometimes it's like you have to do it at the right moment. You can't just do it because you want to. You need to do it when you need to. And I feel like that 4th round that we later see was the time that we needed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So now we're gonna head right into the elimination. And it ends up being a pole wrestle. You guys were all assuming it was gonna be physical. And then some of you wanted Noah back, some of you guys wanted Steven back. Noah, watching it, I have 2 questions for you. A, how were you feeling going into a pole wrestle? And B, watching it back, and hearing like some people rooting against you, Zay, and other people, you know, rooting for you. How did that feel?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer the first question first. Can I talk a little bit about like some of the behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Tell us whatever you gotta tell.
So, like the 2 rounds previous, there was maybe like 15 minutes of once the names were called, they were going into the elimination. So the problem, like, so like once the house voted and once the Wolfpack said a name, there was about 15 minutes maybe for that production used to like set up for the elimination, and then everyone was already outside and we were filming the elimination. With mine was trickier because I remember we were losing daylight, and like you guys couldn't like really knew how they were going to light that elimination round. So I remember us being in the house longer. And again, I am somebody who I am not used to the cold, never been in the snow. So my body already being inside, because that entire third round we're inside, it was trivia. Then we didn't have to go outside for any reason. My body was already like warming up and like decompressing from the cold, that the moment we went back out into that cold, I was like, oh, I'm literally like freezing the fuck up right now. And so I was like, I hope I have it in me. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, okay, I'm going to do my best. The moment I found out it was a pole wrestle, I've never done a pole wrestle before. And something that like people don't know is that it was freshly snowing. So like under that fresh snow was just complete fucking ice. So there was no grip. There was no way to grip the ground. As you can see, like I'm sliding all over the place. I'm trying to grip the ground. You really can't do it. Like, and so I panicked. I'm not gonna lie. I panicked. I froze up. I think that's part of just the way this season is made out to be. Is not only are we fighting the house, but we're also fighting the element of snow. And so I think the snow definitely played in a factor. For me, I'm not going to blame the snow. Steven was obviously stronger than me. And yeah, so I think just going into the pole wrestle, I was a little bit nervous. But after that first round, I was already out. Like mentally, I was like, I can't keep up. The snow is killing me. I'm already starting to not like feel too good. And so I'm pretty sure like the second round, I pretty much like mentally kind of just tapped out. I'm not even gonna lie, I just like mentally just tapped out.
Okay. So watching it back, were you shocked at Zay's interview?
Yeah. I was just it was just like it's like so many different emotions that you kind of feel like watching it back, because it's just, I don't know if it's maybe just me as a person or just maybe the relationship that Zay and I kind of have built, like friendship wise. It's hard because Zay and I feel like, and Zay, I don't know if you can attest to this, we have talked everything out. We have kind of like tried to build that relationship, but I think there's always going to be a level of distrust between us. I don't think like if we were to do another season together, definitely don't think I could like trust you right off the bat, because you're telling me one thing to my face and then saying a lot of other shit like when no one's around. So like in your confessionals. So it's just kind of like you're saying, oh yeah, like I want you to come back, but then turn around and it's like, oh, okay, but that's fucking weird.
When did I say that I wanted you back? Like, did you see it in the episode? I wasn't
to my face when after like my name, you're like, you got this, like you're gonna come back, you're gonna come back. Were you not?
I said that? It's in the episode?
No, it wasn't in the episode, but did you not tell me like I'm gonna do good and I'm gonna come back?
I think after we made up.
Yeah, after we talked in the den.
There was still, after we hugged and made up, I'm very forgiving. I forgive anyone. I'm grown enough to talk about any issues I got with anybody. Of course, I'm gonna tell you that, but at the end of the day, I didn't trust you, and there was still like tension between us. So I didn't think that I would want you back in the game, knowing you were playing messy. So like, yeah, it was like either way for me actually, but I feel like it would be easier for me to solidify something with Steven had I chose to go that route than you, because we already had that tension built up.
Okay.
So the pole wrestle ends up happening, and unfortunately, Noah, you do end up getting eliminated. Steven gets his second elimination win of the season, so congratulations to him. I think everybody, including production, was shocked at his performance thus far in the game. And you walked out of there with your head held high, and you didn't really have anything bad to say. You told people like, I'm proud of the game I played. I had fun. This was hard. This was your first LRG, and you hope that you can come back in the future. So watching it back, do you miss it? Do you want to come back? What would you do differently? And yeah, how was your experience?
Whew. My experience, it's a unique one, because I have like my game experience and then everything that happened after my game ended, that I guess we can talk a little bit about, but my experience, it was a great one. I definitely would love to come back. If I do come back, I'm definitely going to come back better. I just did another LRG over this weekend, and I was actually really surprised on how I did. Given the I was like, okay, I'm not battling snow here, and oh shit, like I'm actually like holding my weight, and I got to I don't know. I think that just gave me the confidence boost I needed. So I've been working on my puzzles. I order a new set of puzzles literally like every couple weeks. And before I go to bed, I try new puzzles. I try figuring out different ways. I think of different patterns. I take like mental notes, and then I don't allow myself to go to bed until I finish the puzzle. I'm starting to slowly work on like my physical aspect of like just boosting up my endurance, because if I come back, like I think I could be a force to be reckoned with. And that's all I can do, I can only build on what I've learned. And what I've learned is you really can't trust anybody in the caucus challenge, because it's a very cutthroat environment, very cutthroat. And just because you talk to somebody every day and just because you think you're good with somebody doesn't mean that they wouldn't like turn around and like stab you in the back. So I think if I was to come back, it'd be very interesting. I would love to see how I would play on a normal season where I can be in my element of warmth, because I know I'm a good swimmer. I know I'm a good swimmer. I know I'm good at like puzzles, and yeah, I would love to just kind of see how I would maneuver in another game. My experience overall was a great one. Like looking back at it, it was an amazing weekend with an amazing group of people, that I wouldn't really change for the world. But in the moment, I was having an absolutely horrible fucking time. Because once I got out, for some reason, they just couldn't stop making little fucking digs at me, pretty much the entire fucking weekend. And I couldn't figure out why. After I was eliminated and after day one was complete, Zay and I had a 45-minute to an hour conversation that no one else knew about in the laundry room, that I personally thought that that we were good, that I thought we cleared things up. And I thought, it was me approaching him to being like, hey, like what's going on? Because I don't like this tension between us. I don't like the way this makes me feel. And that was that. And so I thought we cleared shit up. As the entire weekend went on, Zay just couldn't stop running his mouth about me. And
it
wasn't even running his mouth. It was these little digs.
To you.
Huh?
I was making comments to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. I literally said it was little digs to me.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't figure out the fuck why. And there was something that happens a little bit later on that really was kind of like the tipping point for me. Because as the weekend was going on, and I feel like everyone can attest to this, but I was like starting to run a fever and starting to get sick. Like I was coughing like nonstop. Everyone was literally asking me, are you getting sick? Are you getting sick? Don't get around me. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm not getting sick. And I'm over here just like coughing out my lungs. Like I pretty much left that weekend with like 103 fever.
Damn.
Like dead ass 103 fever. Like I was sick.
Yeah, I had no idea. I knew after the season that you and Zay had like a falling out, butting heads, whatever, but I didn't know the extent of it. And I didn't know that you even left like sick, honestly. So it was all like news to me. And I was shocked because I had no idea that all that was going on. But
I got the entire cast sick, and I am so fucking sorry because after I got home, like I cried, I was sick for a day or two, and then as I was getting better, that group chat was blowing up with everyone being like, I got fucking sick, I'm getting sick, I have a fever. And I was like, oof. I was like, it's because of me, and I'm sorry.
Cam said you were yakking in that bitch.
Oh, I fucking was.
We have Devontae saying, hey, Dre Media fam. We have Jocelyn saying that she'd like to see you
Devontae,
back.
what is your fucking beef with me, bro? I don't even fucking know you, dude. Like, I never met you. I've never had your name in my fucking mouth. What is your fucking problem with me, dude?
Not too much.
I'm just asking because he's like, it's constant shit about me. I'm just curious. What are your issues with me? Because I don't even know you.
I would also like to know the beef. So,
Yo, please. Like, I have no beef with you, my guy.
Oh God. All right. Well, that's to be determined, I guess, because I don't have the answer for that either. He said, I just like to pick Buki, nothing serious.
Okay, because I'm like, not too much.
And Cam said, Zay, why are you saying not too much? All right. I don't know what's going on. There's always mess behind the scenes. So, but okay. So, Jason, we'll start with you. How would you describe Noah's game, and what would you give him? What advice do you give him moving forward? As you're a rookie in the challenge, but you've played other LRGs before.
Well, first off, I expected Koa to win that elimination, even after I saw it was pole wrestle. I just thought that I can tell that he is strong, and I really expected him to win the challenge, and that's being for real. As much as I love Steven, like I thought Koa was going to win that. I was like, damn, Steven's got his work cut out for him. And I think honestly, Koa, like your move to kind of align with Kevin and the vets is a smart move. I mean, it's exactly what I tried to do, from the beginning. Like it's as a rookie with only 5 rookies, you have to figure out and maneuver to get yourself as far as you can. So I think you played a good game, and it's just the way the chips happened to fall at that time. I mean, they could have easily taken a shot at me, brought you into the pack in that round, and it would have been me and Steven in the pole wrestle. You know what I mean? Like, who knows what could have happened? So, and natural selection had a big part of all of that. So honestly, I think you played an incredible game. I think you're built for the challenge. I think you're incredible socially. I know that you're a physical competitor, and I hope you come back, man, because I want to see you excel. And I love your energy. You're incredible. So I don't have to give you any advice. I think you know what you're doing, and you're going to be a force to be reckoned with in TCC in future seasons for sure.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. But I do got a question for you, because that entire weekend, I don't think you and I talked game at all.
We didn't. I wanted to in the drive up, but because we had Zay and Joel in the car with us, it was hard because I knew there was going to be some kind of rookie vet thing, or I thought there was at least. And then once we got there, it was just hard to find time, and it wasn't for any other reason. But I I think there's always somebody around us, always a vet around. I feel like the Secret Six purposely made sure, and this might not be true, just after, knowing about it now, because I didn't know in the time, I just felt like there's always somebody from the Secret Six around, which is now genius to me. And I don't even know if that was calculated, but I just found it very hard to talk to anybody but the vets from the Secret Six, which is interesting. Even with Nate and Imir, the only time we got was like that little, that couple of minutes in the bunk room on night one, because there's always somebody around. And again, maybe they can talk about if that was calculated or not. But
yeah, good question, because you said in one of the comments, I think it was the last live, or a live before that, everyone knew that I was working with Kevin, when nobody knew I was working with Kevin, because and I just want clarification from you since you're on the live, because round one, me and Kevin are not on the same team at all. Round two, me and Kevin are, again, not on the same team, not even the same group. Round three, me and Kevin are completely across the room and didn't really even talk that much.
Yeah, so I did not know that you were working with Kevin. What the rumor in the house was that you wanted to work with Kevin because you idolized him or whatever. And that could have been a total rumor. But
where did the rumor come from?
People were just saying that Koa was really wanted to work with Kevin.
Who was saying that?
Everybody. And I can't tell you exactly who for sure, but it was just what was going around the house.
It wasn't something that it was something that was seen. It was just
I mean, I did see Koa with Kevin a lot, but I didn't think anything of it. But then people started to talk, and honestly, I'm being dead serious with you. I would tell you, I don't remember who. It was just, I remember it being the rumor, almost like a high school rumor around the house, right? Koa was with Kevin and all this stuff. Nobody knew about Secret Six. Nobody knew about any of that. Well, I had seen you guys hanging out on the back porch or whatever, but it wasn't long enough for me to be oh, they're trying to work together. But there was a rumor in the house, and it could have been made up at the time, but it did put seeds in people's heads. But that's not why I didn't talk to you, for sure.
Okay. I think the reason that could have been was literally because out of everyone in the cast, I don't want to say everyone, so let me not bite myself in the foot. However, I feel on a friendship level, I connect with just Kevin the most out of everybody. I feel I'm just a very bubbly and full of life person and full of heart. And then I kind of immediately read that Kevin was pretty much kind of the same way, in the sense of I don't know, just friendly, warm. His energy and aura is just a warm one to be around, that you just kind of want to hang out with, if that makes sense. So I was just
totally agree. And Kevin is somebody that he has charisma, right? So when he's in the room, you just want to hang out with him because he's just fun to talk to. And I totally get that. But
in an environment where you don't really know anybody and you're just it's my first experience, I was okay, I kind of want to be around people who have that warmth, because I'm fucking freezing.
And the thing is, though, when you're new in an LRG, having played other LRGs, all it takes is one little thing, right?
Yep.
And if it's you hanging with Kevin for 10 minutes, people are oh shit, there you go. And then it becomes this thing. And that happens in every single LRG. So it's nothing you did wrong. It's just, there's always somebody's trying to find some reason to point something out about somebody. And that just happened to be what was going around. And I saw you guys hanging out on the back porch for a few minutes with a group of people. And then maybe a little bit later, I'd seen you guys in another spot with another group of people. And I was oh, Koa's around Kevin a lot. But I didn't think nothing of it until it started coming, circling around the house that first night. But again, it's just rumor that happens in LRGs. But like I said, you're built for this game, and you're an incredible player, an incredible competitor. And I can't wait to see you in the future, man. Seriously.
Thank you.
We do have a question from Jay West in the comments, which we will get to at the end of the recap. So definitely love that question, but we'll answer that later.
But wait, circling back to that question about the Secret Six, the only time I feel we really made sure that we were all around was on the drive up. We wanted to make sure that there was definitely a Secret Six member in each thing. But to make it a point every single day of the weekend, I don't think that was like the main thing. It just so happened to be that way. It worked out in mysterious ways. You know, we were in the right place at the right time. We all circled back with our information, and it just flowed. You know, it wasn't forced. We had one conversation as a group, and that's the one that Noah chimed in on as well. But we could never successfully group up again. Like, that was way too risky. So, yeah, I think it just worked out that way.
Okay. So, Zay, any last words, advice for Noah as he exits the game? Or anything in general, like about the experience, the behind the scenes, anything you want to say?
I just want to say, I think like just Noah saying "fuck you" to my face really, like, it didn't make me angry or upset. I feel like that definitely hurt my feelings more than it did make me angry, and I think my confessionals like seem otherwise. But like, I think a lot of parts of me that are not healed yet, that I'm still working on, or past trauma that I've been through, having somebody that I felt like was really close to me outside of the game saying that to my face, and just seeing him hug up on Kevin and hug up on Mike made me feel like I was shit a little bit. So it was way deeper than just the game. I think we both did not know anything was gonna go on. So going in there, it was just like more of like a sensitive topic, I guess you could say, to like, I don't know. I get nervous talking about it, but yeah, so it just hurt more than anything. And it was just like annoying to see him up Kevin and Mike's ass so much. And like, I wish that I was that person that could have been that comfort for you, or like between all the like topics we talked about, all the like deep talks we said. So yeah, I just want to clear that up too. So it hurt me more than anything.
I mean, I definitely think it's an emotional game, and obviously,
Yeah.
Get over it.
What's it called? I definitely think you guys are real, like, you guys are real friends outside of it. So
No,
obviously,
like outside the game, like I can say Zay is like probably one of my closest friends.
Yes.
Even though he lives like far away. I think I am learning as I do more LRGs how to separate friendship and game. And I think with Zay, that was the biggest learning lesson of separating like our friendship that we had and game. And like I just being who I am just couldn't separate that in the moment. So I was like getting upset because he, like after the game, I felt like I was like trying to decompress as he was like still in game mode because he's still in. And it was just like at that point for him, he just couldn't separate game and friendship. And it just felt like all the little digs to me were like personal attacks. Like not personal, like, you know, but it was like just personal. And I was like, okay, like
targeted. Yeah.
Yeah, it was targeted because I like once the game was over, we were sitting at the table and you just continue to go at it. And I said, I got pissed and I got up and I like walked the fuck out into the snow. And I was like, I know I'm going to get blacklisted if he walks out here because we are going to fucking scrap in this snow. Like Zay, had you walked out there, I promised you and me would have like showed them what the Bay Area looks like. We would have honestly probably fought. Like had Zay followed me outside, him and I would have 100% fought.
That was my defense mechanism, and that's something that I need to work on and not be so sassy all the time when it comes to that. My defense mechanism was every time I was around you, I was disgusted, I was irritated. You just like, I didn't want to be around you. So anytime I was around you, hearing from like two or three people that you're still running your mouth about me after we had a long ass conversation in the laundry room, and hearing that you're still talking about me doing this and that, saying I'm shady, this and that. Why didn't I tell you about the Secret Six? Exactly why I didn't tell you about the Secret Six is because exactly what you've shown. You were messy. You repeated to Steven for 30 seconds of a trust that you didn't get from him. And so,
but like we talked about, after we had that 45-minute conversation, the next day
you talk shit about
me. As the game continued, I still kept hearing little digs.
Okay.
Every time I was around, you still kept making little digs. And I was like, okay, You're in the game. I'm not. Why? Like, you're in the game. I'm not. Why are you still making these little digs to me? And then it kept going. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I was like, it was the final day, end day, whatever.
Hold on, we got a whole reunion, so you
Oh,
guys.
okay. Thank you.
We're gonna change the subject just
Alright.
because it's been a lot, but I am glad you guys are at least able to talk about it, and hopefully we do see a redemption arc with you guys sometime in the near future. But before we change the subject, Kevin, do you have any final words for Noah? You know, after you had part of his demise, and like just any advice playing, coming back to the caucus or playing other games.
Yeah, I mean, I hope this whole lesson, like experience, whatever you want to call it, like it just teaches you for forward. You know, there are going to be people that see you for the loyal person that you played. So obviously it's going to be repaid. Hopefully it's repaid. You know, I want you to do well the next time we see you. But I do take responsibility for what happened, and I do feel bad for what happened. I wish you had a better first experience because I know that's all you wanted. But it is going to scar me forever, what I did. Seeing your face, how hurt you were. So, apologies.
Bitch, you done snatched my whole ass wig.
I know you clutched your pearls pretty hard.
Is there going to be? Do you have footage of that, Dre?
That one clip. That's it. That's in the episode.
Ah.
But okay. So moving on from that, we go into the next we go into the next daily, and you know, it's at this point it's pitch black outside. It's probably I don't even remember, it was probably like 18 degrees outside. And you guys have to crack a code. I personally think this was one of my favorite challenges so far in the season. You know, I think this was where the game, as we've seen in the episode, started to take a turn. Jason, at any point during this round, did you feel, I know you said it in the episode, but like watching it back, did you feel like your intuition was right, or did you feel that like you were good this round?
I think in the moment I still had like a hope, you know, and I wasn't doing well, and I knew I wasn't going to win this one. Like I'm just not good at this. So I had a hope that, you know, that Kevin or Clay, like, well, you know, the first team would stick to it. I did feel like, you know, you get that gut feeling that there could be something coming, but I didn't know. I just kind of had to trust and hope that they would continue. But I had no way to tell. So I didn't know it was coming at all. No.
And Zay, I know from your last time we saw you, your rookie season, this was the round you went home. So what's on the line for you in that moment? Like, what was going through your mind?
I think what was going through my mind was just to make it to day 2. I think you see on my rookie season, I was like talking to the camera, please, I want to make it to day 2. That was all I've ever wanted, was to at least make it to day 2. And a lot was on the line. I just knew that we needed one of the 6 members to win. I didn't know that was going to be the pulling the trigger point, but I knew it was bound to happen. But I just knew one of us needed to win so we can guarantee both sides of the vote again. But a lot was definitely on the line. I'm just not good at math whatsoever. And I think what really threw me off was seeing like the same letter at different equations. So I was like, how does that make sense if the same letter's right here? It was just a lot. I was tired. It was cold. Like I said, the equations were just everywhere for me.
Yeah.
It was.
So this whole plan to strike at Jason and Nate, I feel like it was spearheaded by Kevin and Mike and Clay. So Kevin, speak for you three. What about this round was the time to strike? Why? Like, did you know off rip, like this is the round? What made it switch all of a sudden? Because like you said, like round 3, you were like, oh, we just worked together. Like, I don't want to do that. But what was the like switch?
I personally think I was the one that influenced it first. They almost pulled Jason, like I said, into that pack. And that's what Mike was telling me. And I was like, no, if you're going to be the second person, whatever, you got to choose me next. You know, in my head, I was also thinking this is a perfect round for people to try to come at me. You know, day 2 is right there. And as we all know, the format changes, things change. People that you may have been loyal to the first day, you're definitely not being loyal to the second day. And I just felt like that could have been my time, you know. So I didn't want to be caught up in a sticky house situation. I wanted to be safe, not have ultimate power, but I knew I could have influence in the power, you know. So I immediately banded to Mike, and I was like, "This is the time we got to do it." So I reminded them, you know, this was to me Mike's plan from the very start. You know, like he was the one that did his research a lot, and was like, these two really are dangerous. So I was like, why are we not doing it yet? You know, like it's been very nice. We've been playing like a comfortable game with each other. But if you look at the numbers now, there's not many options anyways if we stick to the day 1 team. So we're not going to start turning on the 6. We don't want to make ourselves the options. We have to start playing this game, you know. So it was just the perfect time to do it. And I knew if I just talked to Steven and made sure he had safety, he was hopefully just going to do it with us. And to my surprise, he was the one that led the charge. So I think it all worked perfectly.
Yeah, I definitely have to say this was probably one of the best rounds to watch, edit, and see play out because the gameplay was phenomenal. Like the Secret Six literally had the entire house doing their work without anybody knowing. Like in this moment, this was the chance to override the 6. You guys, everybody else had the numbers in the house, but because Steven wanted to save himself, you guys were able to use that little connection he had with Kevin. You were able to pull on those strings a little bit and also use the, hey, like let's target the rookies this round. On top of the rookies, not necessarily backstabbing Steven, but not accepting his deal, alliance, truce, whatever you want to call it, the round before. So I think like everything up to this point is falling in line for you guys up until, you know, half of you want to keep going for Steven because he's, you know, getting sassy, he's being messy, he's whatever. And then the other half are like, no, we need to make a big move. Kevin and Zay, you know, you're both here and you both have had a rocky past in the game. What was this really a nerve-wracking round for you guys to actually trust to solidify what was going on with the 6? And do you think, was there any point in time, Zay, did you think about flipping on them?
I would say that the idea was fed for sure. The idea was there, and I feel like more than likely when it came to the 6, me and Joel were at the bottom of that, and I think me and Joel both knew that. And then I think when it was slowly getting revealed that the 6s might be something that that we were an alliance, that people did feed the idea that we were at the bottom, and if we don't make the move, then possibly not. But at this point in the game, I already had started. I think me and Kevin's trust was definitely built on the 3rd round when he for sure pulled me into that wolf pack. That solidified my trust with him because of our rocky past. But the whole Secret 6 thing, there was mistrust amongst everyone. My mistrust was with Kevin. Mike's might have been mistrusted with Clay, Joel with Kevin as well. But I think this round, us really sticking together, us voting in Nate and Jason really solidified and locked in no budging when it came to the 6. This was the round that we proved that we're going to stick together and stay together till the end, and that's exactly what we did. So that was the round that really solidified the 6 is the 6. Yeah.
Gotcha. So watching it back, Jason, did you have like watching the pack conversation and, you know, the Steven, Kevin, and Zay telling Joel and Joel like freaking out and not knowing what to do, watching it back, what are your thoughts on it? Obviously the blind side was made towards you, but what do you think? Do you think it's a good game move? Do you feel slighted by them, or would you have done the same thing? Like where was your head at?
No, it was a great game move. I mean, you heard Imir tell Nate and I that they wanted us out from, you know, from the first round. So for them to keep us safe, and then for Kevin to pull me into Kevin and Zay to pull me into the pack in round 3, that's an incredible game move because it gave me a sense of security. So it's a great move, and honestly, that's what they should have done because I am a threat. I am dangerous. So you should take a shot, and I have no shade towards that. That round was a blur for me. Like I don't even remember a lot of the discussions, but I knew there was discussions to see if we could have Steven and Nate come together and do something. But it didn't go very far because Kevin got to Steven first, and Steven was protecting himself, which he should have in that round because he just been in twice. So I do the same thing. So it was great that Kevin pulled Steven in, which is the first time I had seen that in the episode, and that's a huge move by Kev because it made Steven feel secure, and then he went after Nate, and that's exactly what they needed to split those numbers. Because had me, Stevo, and Nate grab Steven, it would have been a different ball game, right? So that was the key to me right there, was that move, securing, what ended up happening, as we see in episode 4.
Yeah. So Kevin, since you were in the pack, I do want to bring up a scene that didn't make the cut in the episode, but I know you guys were making comments to the rest of the 6, like, if anybody that flips, it will be you if you flip. Did you mean that? If they had flipped, obviously you weren't the alpha, but do you think you guys would have, would the 6 not be a thing, and would they be options to go in, or would it still, like, if they would have sent in Steven, what do you guys think? What do you think you guys would have done?
I honestly, we had that conversation in the pack, just us 3. We did not want this plan to get fucked up, so we were dead ass serious. Whoever fucked up this plan was just gonna be like the nail in the coffin. That's why I don't go against plans with the Secret 6. If they wanted Steven, all right, let's go, let's just do it. Like, we move as a group. So if you're blatantly gonna go against the plan after we've just told a couple members, like, if you go against it, like, it's you. Like, we were already dead set in our mind, like, that person was going in. And so when Joel was, not really knowing what to do, I made a comment and I was like, don't let it be you, or something like that. Like, I didn't mean it to come off so aggressive or like I was trying to intimidate him about it, but it was just like, bro, if you fuck this up right now, like, it could be you against Nate, or whatever it ended up being. So it just wasn't worth it. That's what I was trying to get the message out of. But yeah, that's basically what was going on.
Emotions were so high that round. Like, you seen me running the hallways, talking to Joel, talking to the rookies. Emotions were very, very high that round. You see me going back to talk to Mike, and it wasn't that I didn't trust Mike. It was just like, there's so many emotions going on that I told him, like, are we about to do your guys' dirty work? Are we about to do this? And then you guys send one of us in. Like, it was just, not that the trust wasn't there. It was just so much was going on because we had this day 1 deal with everyone. And then from the first challenge I meant, and it's like, damn, now we're doing that. And like, for me, I want to play loyal. I never like backstab, went against my word yet. But in that moment, it was like, fuck, now it's now or never for the 6. So the smartest move was to stick together since we were doing that the whole time. So
Yeah.
I don't know if Zay, sorry to cut you off, but that conversation that happened, that was also behind the scenes for that little incident with Joel, where he was kind of like backing out, because I was gonna bring that up too.
yeah.
Finding that out, and that kind of put a little bit more distrust within me and Joel, but I try to make sure I smoothed that out because the next day, yeah,
Are you talking about when I went to you and told you that Joel's kind of on the fence a little bit to go talk to? Yeah. Okay, so for that, I didn't come to you like to be malicious against Joel. Like, Joel's my favorite. That was my number 1. I didn't come to you to like be malicious or to even throw Joel under the bus. Me and Joel talked about it after the season as well. But that was because I was gonna solidify myself with the 6 even more so, that I wanted you guys to like give clarity to Joel and let him know like it's okay. I didn't want him to feel like we were playing your guys' game, that this is a group decision. We all have to come together. And I didn't want him to feel like an outcast, because me and Joel did know that when it did come to the 6, we were at the bottom. So that was my way of trying to like let you know a little bit so you could clear things out with him so he knows that we're really working together. But it was never to be malicious against Joel. It was never to like build distrust between you guys. And if I did that, I apologize because that was not my intention whatsoever. But yeah.
No, I don't think it was your intention either, but it just made it like another worry in our head, especially for me, because I already went against Joe one time. You know, he's beat me in the final. Like, we've already went at it, and I know it could spark up again if it really like came down to it.
Yeah.
So, like one of those things where I was like, no, I want to patch this up and make sure we're good. You know, not open this back up again.
Right.
So before we wrap the recap up and we start asking the questions, what do you think like about, you know, Steven's game? You know, we see a lot of people want him out when he's talking deliberations. There's people making faces, rolling their eyes. A lot of people are saying he's being messy. Do you think, we'll start with Zay, do you think you made, right now in this moment without giving spoilers, do you think you made the right move watching it back? Or do you think, you know, maybe you should have stayed loyal to Jason and Nate right now? Do you feel like, basically, do you feel that you were playing their game, or do you think this was a move that was for the six and not specifically Kevin, Mike, and Clay?
I think for my personal individual game, I think either way would have been good for me because I felt very comfortable with Jason. Rode up with him, everything was good. Nate, he was very quiet on day one and like kept to himself. And I was eating at the table, and Nate was eating at the table, so we like talked about the challenge, favorite competitors and stuff. So me and Nate built a bond. I'm all about loyalty, so I thought maybe we would stick together as a team from day one going into day two. But at the same time, when it came to making that decision, I think it was the right decision for the six. And I knew that move was going to have to be made regardless. If we want to stick together as a six to make it to the end, we're going to have to do the hard things regardless. So I feel like it was the right thing to do for the six going into day two, knowing how tough day two gets. And that takes at least one strong competitor out because I didn't want to face Jason nor Nate on a one-on-one elimination. So if I could get one of them out with the six, then that solidifies my spot as well as an individual. So I feel like I did do it for the six and not just for their game because I knew the plan since the beginning.
Gotcha. Do any of you have anything else you want to say about the episode before we hop into some questions?
Yeah, I got something.
What's up?
Enough with these damn cliffhangers, okay, production?
Oh,
Killing me.
Listen, if we don't keep the cliffhangers, it's going to be too like straight to the point. We got to keep the viewers waiting. We got to keep them coming to the after shows. I feel like even with you guys haven't seen a lot that happened in the show. So it's keeping you guys entertained and keeping you guys at the edge of your seats.
yeah.
100%.
Definitely it's a tactic. I promise you guys, trust me, like I hate cliffhangers as well, but it all comes down to making sure you guys get the full challenge experience and a full season. But who knows, maybe next episode there won't be a cliffhanger. Not every episode will be a cliffhanger, I promise you guys.
Right, Jay got me fiending for Sundays, baby. That's all I know. I cannot wait for Sunday.
Thank you. Okay, so let's hop right into these questions. I'm going to start with the first question I remember in this chat. It was question from Jay West. So as a fan, if everyone is working with Kevin, why not cut the head off of the snake when the game and then the game is open for everything? Which I have to say, I 1,000,000% agree. I have said this all the time because there are a lot of people in the cast that are not Kevin fans. And then they're like, oh, Kevin this, Kevin that, Kevin has this. Like they try to paint out Kevin to be this person. And obviously, like personal side, obviously Kevin and I are friends, but from a production standpoint, I don't think Kevin plays a nasty game. I think this is probably the dirtiest game we've seen Kevin play. But I also think if you're in a house with 14 people and none of you guys want to strike at him, that's a problem. Like Kevin is no longer the problem. At that point, it's, in my opinion, everybody else for not. There's one of him and 13 of you. So why is no one trying to get him out? So I don't know who wants to take the stage first, but
Well, I do
I'll
have to be very, so I'll just answer really quick my perspective. First off, I don't like this question. I don't like this topic. I don't like talking about this. Please keep me in the game further. But I personally think all of my social abilities, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm a good social player. Like, I will talk to a fucking rock. So if I have a good relationship with that rock, like Sivo, what can you do? That rock doesn't want to throw me in, you know? So that's not my fault. And a lot of the times, if you do throw me in, like, not to sound cocky, I make it back. And, you know, I look for a reason in this game. A lot of times I'm throwing in people because of whatever. I don't have a strong reason. But if you give me that reason, you know it's you every time. If I win anything, and I do win a lot of dailies sometimes. So sometimes you just don't want to fuck with that person that does win challenges and little shit like that, because you know that I'm first now on their radar. So personally, I think that's just how my game ends up going. A lot of people do end up kind of getting scared taking that shot, which I don't blame them, but it's always there. I just think I'm able to maneuver out of it too. So there's layers to it.
okay.
I'll answer that. There's two parts to it. For Kevin is 100% right. His social game is incredible, right? So he makes you feel comfortable. But if you're in a position of power, especially the way 17 is formatted, and you are in the pack and you send Kevin into elimination, you don't know who the house is sending against him, right? And I would say that Kevin's probably got a 90% chance of beating whoever is in that cast in an elimination, in my opinion. And you don't know what the elimination is, but Kevin's pretty good at everything. So you are sending him in and you can't take him out yourself, right? In a competition, because you're in the pack. So you don't know who he's going to get and who he's going to draw. So that's the first part. The second part is,
But wait, sorry to cut you off, but you do,
Yeah.
because the house goes first.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess you're right. But if your plan's already to send them in, and you're like,
True.
this is the round to do
Okay,
it.
yeah, like if you're saying, like, if you're locked in and
Yeah.
you basically gotta, yeah.
Right. If like in round 2, if Sivo and Nate and I were like, we're gonna take a shot at Kevin, we got to send him against whoever the house sends, right? Because we're not going to change our mind because we're going to take a shot. But yeah, you're right. You're like, you know who he's going against, but you also have your mind made up at that point. You don't have enough time.
That's true. Okay, valid.
And then secondly, if Kevin makes you feel comfortable and he's like, all right, I'm gonna play with you, you know, Kevin has proven he can get to the end because he gets to the end all the time. So my thought as a rookie is, okay, maybe he'll take me with him, and then I have a shot at him mano y mano, right? Like I'll take that. I'll take my chances. If I can get to a final my rookie season and Kevin brings me there, I'll take my shot in the final. And if I lose, whatever. But like I feel like a lot of people probably feel that way too. Like there's three, four, however many stages of a final. Like if you can get there, anybody's got a shot. And I think that's probably what a lot of people think. This is my opinion.
Okay. Okay, my next question is for Zay. If you were the alpha that round, would you have taken that shot?
For the round 4?
Yeah, or would you have wanted to say Steven as the alpha?
I think definitely getting the feedback from the Secret Six would have definitely maneuvered me to take the shot, which I knew what was the plan since the beginning of the game. I think to prove my loyalty, because I'm loyal and I want to keep my word as best as I can, I think I would have definitely have took the shot. Like I said earlier, I didn't want to face them off in elimination one-on-one, me versus them. So if one of them could get out, that lessens the chance I'd have to face at least one of them. So I think the influence probably from, I would say Mike for sure definitely would influence me to take the shot. And then me wanting to prove my loyalty, I would have. But then who's to say that Joel would have tried to get in my head as a friend and tell me something. Otherwise, it's hard to say what I would have done if Joel would have given me feedback of what I should do. Because then I would have thought about just me and Joel's game individually at that moment. So it's hard to say for sure. But I think to prove loyalty for the Six, I definitely would have took the shot.
Yeah. Noah, do you, watching this back, do you have any regrets? And I think a big question is, what would you have done if you got back in the game?
Do I have any regrets?
Yeah, I know, but you have stuff to do.
I don't think I do.
Right.
because I feel like everything was a learning lesson for me. This being my very first LRG, um, and doing something as physical as the caucus. Um, I think everything that I experienced, I needed to experience, because I'd rather experience it my rookie season than doing it like experiencing that in a season moving forward. Um, because I was able to make mistakes and I was able to kind of now take a step back and kind of look at that game and kind of dissect it a little bit more how I played. And there's definitely things I would have done differently. Um, where the fuck I sit on the couch would have been probably my biggest one. Because I don't think Zay would have pitched my name had I sat on the other side of the couch and not have been the first person to say Steven's name. Had I been, in the middle and being like, oh, I'm just going to vote with the House Steven, then Steven would have never approached me. That would have never gotten back to Zay. And then when it came into that deliberation, Zay wouldn't have ever said my name. So, but with that being said, it like you can't really play the what if game, because that will just keep you up all night. However, if I did come back into the house and Steven was out, that would have definitely taken a turn, because then there would have been extremely limited on kind of who to target and kind of who to throw in, because no matter what, I knew I was at the bottom of that 7-person alliance, even though I know now it was 6. But Kevin did say something to me was, if one of the 6 was to get eliminated, and I was still in the game, then I would have been pulled into that 6. So it felt like I was just kind of like in the waiting room. But, like I said, you really can't play the what if game, because that will just keep you up at night.
But do you think you would have targeted? Would you have been done with the 6, or would you have still played with them?
I would have still played with them because, like I said in the last live, I slowly started to plant the seed in both Cam and Joel's ear that, hey, look, this is a 7-person alliance, and there's no way that Kevin, Mike, and Clay are going to go against each other. And I don't know, Cam, if you're still in here, if you remember me telling you that, but I was like, there's no way. I was like, I do not see them turning on each other. So I was like, me, you, Joel. I was like, and then I was like, I bet we can easily pull in Zay, because then that would have been a 4-3. And then we would kind of have the majority. I wasn't saying it as to like take a shot right then and there. I was just like slowly planting the seed because I slowly wanted to water that idea, to hopefully get me further in the game. But if it came down to it, yes, I would have absolutely taken a shot. Because why the fuck not?
Okay. Jason, I have a question for you. Were you shocked, or how do you feel seeing Sivo's closing confessional when you saved him round 1, and all season you've been, in his corner, behind the scenes, in the house? How did you feel?
Sivo is a confessional gangster, man, and I told him that today.
I said it.
Yeah, like, it is what it is. He says he was talking, he was talking in the moment and he didn't know. But I mean, Nate told me out loud, audibly, to say his name, and my vote didn't count because just like Jay West was talking about how Steven changed the order of the votes, I was the last vote. It was already 4-2, and I promise you, I would have burned a vote. I don't know on who, but I would have burned a vote if Nate didn't want me to. And the fact that he told me to say his name, he bailed me out, because my vote didn't matter at that point. And he did say loud and clear, Joel. Yes, he did. So, I mean, when you go back to Sivo, like, I don't know, he likes his confessionals. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, he hid it from us live.
Yeah, do you guys agree as a whole? Like, do you think Sivo's a confessional gangster, and what makes a confessional gangster to you guys?
Somebody
is.
who is very calculated in what they want to fucking say.
I think Siva wants to play this big mastermind and this big string puller, and like, no, anything that he's saying in the confessionals isn't true. I wouldn't say it's not true, but I feel like he's trying to portray himself as this big mastermind, and he knew all along, like, this is all part of my game, and I knew to make this move because this was going to be said. No, you did not know a lot of the things that are going on. He wants to mastermind, and he's not.
Absolutely.
You
He's
are
all that.
So
Had-
Joseph of
I knew all along.
BB26.
You did not know a lot of it, half of the game.
Yeah, he really tried to pretend like he knew a lot of things that he didn't.
He did not
And
know.
that's the most frustrating part about it. Because, I mean, I know exactly what he's trying to portray, that character that just knows everything and whatnot. Don't trust anybody, blah, 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 blah. You told everybody your information. You told everybody you had a power, so that's not true.
And you trusted us. I'm not gonna scratch their back if they don't scratch mine. We can't trust it. No, you trusted us.
exactly.
He literally whispered in Kevin's ear, like on the couch 17 times in 3 episodes. Like, I'm like, you're talking to Kevin all the time. What you mean you don't trust him, bro? Like, just be honest in your confessionals.
Noah, you were saying something?
No, because before the season started, it was me and Zay who he talked to again nonstop. Like, I knew Sivo going in before the game from 2000 and I want to say it was 19. We met at a Challenge Mania event in Nashville, and I'll get there for the reunion because I got some tea about the weekend. And like, I saw his name was on the cast. I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna like talk. We're gonna work together. But then I forgot how fucking delusional this kid is, because he would tell me and Zay like the same thing of, like, oh, I want to say this or I'm thinking about that, and it was like, okay, when he got his he said something in one of the lives about his power, and I'm like, bro, you literally told, I was the first person you told, and then you asked me for like if you should go and tell Kevin to build that trust with Kevin, and I said, I was like, well, does Zay know? He's like, I don't think so. And I was like, okay, so tell Zay, obviously, because we're all like all three of us were working together. And then he ran and told Kevin about getting the power as we were like walking over. So it's like, dude, you're not a mastermind. You were fucking drunk the first night. Let's be fucking honest. You weren't pouring shit into a cup. You were drunk. You were messy. You were sloppy. You kept telling all these stories about, I know this person. I know that person. This person's going to FaceTime. Where are the FaceTimes?
Tina's going to FaceTime get the house. Tina wants to say hi to all you guys.
Where are those? Where are those calls to everybody? No, they're not. They're not there. Like, my guy, take a step back. It's not that serious. And for me, it's frustrating, like, watching his story like unfold, because the motherfucker didn't even want to fucking be there in the first. Like, he didn't want to make it to the end. And they can attest to this. He did not want to make it to the end. He wanted to go home because he had a Challenge Mania event before the last night. So as you guys will see the story unfold, it's like you're sitting here acting like you're this calculated and you're like mastermind, but you're fucking not. You just wanted the clout. Let's be honest. You just wanted the clout. And that's okay. That's okay if you want the clout. But like, don't try to come for me and don't try to throw other people under the bus, because from what I was understood was he had my name in his fucking mouth and he wanted to start some shit with me. And I'm going to let those chips fall as they may, but I don't want to have to open this library, baby, and read you, because I have the fucking receipts.
Okay.
I have the receipts. Thank you.
We do have Tootie saying, since everyone knew this about Siva, why wasn't anyone throwing him in? I forgot, was he part of anybody's alliance? So I don't think anybody really knew Siva was, like, obviously the confessionals come out during the season, during now, but like, I genuinely, I don't know why you guys didn't throw Siva in. I thought that was going to be the easy house vote,
Maybe
but I definitely think watching it from a viewer's perspective, it has changed the season drastically.
Yeah, I mean,
he was first in elimination, no matter what.
So
first one in.
Yeah, so round one, like he told everybody he had the advantage, right? And then, so that was part of the reason why I saved him. But I did save him because I felt bad for him, because whether or not he was drunk or not, like, he fooled me, and I was like, I don't like that. Like, I feel like, if people are picking on him, which I never witnessed, but that's what he was saying. I was like, let me bring him in, let me make him feel
Who was
comfortable.
picking on him?
That's just
No.
what he was saying. Remember, he was yapping at night.
Spiraling.
He got me. He tricked me. So I pulled him in.
Definitely.
Also, he's a rookie, right? So if he's like a wounded, a wounded dog, and you pull him in, he's gonna love you for life. So I'm like, all right, he'll be somebody good to have with me and Nate and whomever else we align with, because he's not gonna go nowhere, because we saved him on his first day. That was my thought process in the first episode. So I thought I was aligned with Sivo. I did, like, all the way up until this episode. I was aligned with Sivo 100%. As a rookie, me and Nate and Sivo were pretty much it, right? Just all our pack time together, everything else. So I didn't want Sivo to go in. And if the rest of the vets who are on team one from that first day were willing to put somebody else in, I'd be okay with it, because Sivo was, aligned with me at that point.
Okay. So, one more question I'm gonna ask Noah. Who do you want to see go home next? If you, from the taste you have in your mouth, whether it's now or in that moment when you got eliminated, who would you like to see go out the door next?
Sivo. Get that. Sivo. Just Sivo. That's it. No one else. I love everyone else on the cast. And I'm not saying that I don't like him. I just think he needs to figure out some shit with himself. Like, love the kid. He's great. But Sivo, I would love to see walk out that fucking door right after me. I think he lives in a world where no one else really lives. And I mean, I'm the fucking mayor of Delulu land. I stay delusional, but there's no word for what the fuck that kid is. Like, just no. I have something for the reunion.
Okay. And then
Hey,
Jason,
Dre, real quick before you ask the question, and I don't know if we're gonna talk about this, but can I just make a statement?
Yeah.
I just want to give Clay his props for winning the daily challenge.
Yes, please.
We didn't talk about it, and he talked about it in his confessionals. I want to give him his flowers. He did a great job, even though I ended up going in because of it. I got a lot of respect for Clay, and I want to give him his props for winning that challenge. He deserved it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I definitely want to give him his props. I didn't touch base on it just because we had so much going on, but he definitely earned that win. That was, like I said, probably one of the hardest challenges in the season.
Hard.
And I'm proud of him. I know, without giving too much away, he has a certain goal that he wants to reach in this season. I think he is known for playing the background and being a follower, background character, not making moves. So I think that we're gonna see a different side of Clay this season, and hopefully it brings him far. But without giving too much away, I think he definitely deserves his flowers, and he did a great job this episode. So,
didn't mean to answer the question. I wanted to give him his flowers.
No, for sure, and I appreciate you for bringing that up. So Joel said we love when bottoms get individual wins.
I can't with Joel. I cannot.
My question to you, Jason, was the pack sends you in and you say clearly, the one good thing that comes out of this is they showed their cards. So you're either going to lose your number one or you're going to go home. But if you get back in this house, what's the game plan? Who do you strike at first? Is it Clay? Is it Kevin? Is it Mike? Does it matter? What do you do moving forward now?
Well, I think in the moment it's hard because you know that Dre Media changes, the format on day 2. You don't know what's going to happen. And either way, whether it's me or Nate, we've only got Sivo left as the rookie that's left in the game. So it's not looking too good for Nate and I. So whomever gets back into the game is going to have to be fluid and figure it out. So while I want to strike, and I'm sure Nate wants to strike, whoever gets back in is going to have to be really calculated on it, because unless you want to be in every elimination, you got to figure something out. So it just depends on the game format, honestly, moving forward, what the decision is for either of us who get back in.
Mm-hmm. And then my personal last question, and then I'll let you guys take the floor if there's anything you guys want to talk about. Zay, who do you want to come back, Nate or Jason? What's better for your game?
I would say that I would want Jason to come back for sure, because obviously I didn't vote for him. And then, like I said earlier, me and Jason created a bond like on the way up with Joel and Noah. We were all having good talks the whole way up. I actually rode shotgun with Jason, so I was up there in the front talking with him. And then he opened up about how he was really close with his grandma. I'm really close to my grandma. My grandma's my everything, so everybody knows that. So I feel like that was more of a really good bond. And then he put me on some pretzel from, what was that called? What was that place we went?
Wawa, baby.
Wawa, yeah. He put me on some pretzel. That pretzel was bomb. Shout out to that pretzel. I still want one. But yeah, so I would definitely want Jason to come back, because I feel like I didn't say his name. So maybe if he were to win the next challenge, he's not going to go after me. He will go after the other people that said his name. Not that I would want that, but as long as it's not me. So I would definitely want Jason to come back in the game for sure.
Okay. So I think that wraps up the episode, unless I'm missing anything. But before we wrap it up, I am going to give you guys the floor if there's anything you would like to say. Noah, we'll start with you. We won't probably see you until the reunion. So how are you feeling leaving this stage tonight?
I feel great. I just want to thank, J Media for putting on this season, the entire cast. It was a fucking roller coaster, for sure. I think I'm just very grateful and happy about the experience that I had. And I'm glad that I can look back on it and use kind of what I learned that weekend about myself and about LRGs and just about everything, and just apply it to life. You know. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to play. I hope that you guys see me in the future. It's up to the challenge gods. We'll kind of see what happens. But yeah, I'm just extremely grateful for this opportunity, and thank you all.
Thank you, Noah. It's been a pleasure having you tonight, hosting you last winter. It was amazing, and I'm happy that you're part of the DMP family, and I know we will see you in the future. So thank you. Keep being you. I think you're a one-of-a-kind energy. I think, game or not, everybody, production and your castmates, enjoyed your presence, and I definitely look forward to working with you in the future. Congrats on the Traders game that you played, and make sure to plug that in so that people could go watch you and root for you as well.
Yes, I just did the Traders Chicago. Shout out to the Traders Chicago. That was a very fun experience. Tune in to Trader Chicago on Instagram to see if I'm a trader or a faithful.
All right. And then Jason, any last words before we head out?
Yeah, just agree with Koa that that first day was an emotional roller coaster. For me, there's no other game like the Caucus Challenge. It's difficult. It's amazing. It's incredible. Any good adjective you can use to describe it. It's an incredible experience. Tune in next week to find out if I put up or shut up against my number one ally, Nate. Check it out.
It's gonna be a good one. It's a blind one too, so no one really knows what's coming. Zay, any final words from the Bay tonight?
Every day, all day. I just want to clarify with Noah, actually. I know you felt betrayed coming into the game. We did say we were going to be number ones, in November before the game started in January, this and that and stuff. But I just want to clarify and let you know that the Secret Six was literally formed like 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe before the game started. So all that stuff that we did talk about before the game was very, very true. And I didn't go in there with the intention to backstab you, to throw you under the bus. That was never my intention. The Secret Six was just this. It just made sense for all of us to really come together. And I want to give a Secret Six fact that each member of the Secret Six had a different rookie season. We're all different rookies from different seasons, and we came together. But yeah, so, and also Joel being my number one, I didn't know Joel was on the cast. Joel was going to surprise me when we pulled up. Joel told me like probably as well 2 or 3 weeks when the Secret Six was formed that he just made the cast. So you would have been my number one up there with Cam and Mike. But then Joel came in, and then the Secret Six came in, and then all that was formed, and it just made sense for my personal game to rock with that. And I didn't give you that information because you were a rookie. I didn't know how you were going to play. I didn't know if you were going to be messy or not. As a friend, when you talked to me, you told me, I love to be messy. I love to steer the pot. I love to get canceled, this and that. You told me that. But how can I trust you with any information giving that you opened up to me as a friend, telling me that you're the messiest queen there is? So it's like, there was never no hard feelings when it came to our friendship. It was never that I didn't want to keep you out of the loop on purpose. It was just for me coming back from my rookie season being purged. I felt like I had a lot to prove to myself as an individual and a game player myself. So it was never against you, and it's always going to be all love. And I never wanted you to ever feel outcasted or bullied by my side remarks. And I apologize if I ever made you feel that way. That was never my intention. I don't stand for that. I don't like to see people get jumped, bullied, singled out, and it's always love at the end of the day. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, and I know, and I love you. I adore you as a friend. You're somebody I will always hold very close to my heart for a lot of reasons that you and I have talked about before the season, after the season. But in the game, like, we're just going to have to separate that friendship because I don't know if we can fully trust each other right now. As close as we are, as friends, I think like if we were to get cast again together, and there's a lot of trust on a game level that we're going to have to kind of build back with each other.
I mean, me and Kevin did it, so maybe we could do it too. So
maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. And then we're going to wrap it up with the king himself, Kevin. Final words, and I want you to wrap it up with what should the viewers expect from the remainder of the season? No spoilers.
Well, for starters, I hope people have enjoyed my game thus far. I know it's not a typical Kevin game. There's some attributes, but for the most part, like Jay West said, it is kind of fun being the villain, kind of doing those things back at people or just at other people that, it's been done to you before. So it kind of feels good to fill that gap in your game. But yeah, just for the future, just know you're getting more of a show and it's only going to get better without spoiling too much, So a lot of things do happen, and I feel like for the most part, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing, with what I did so far, and there's no regrets with the people that I'm working with.
Awesome. And then before we wrap it up, Billy just said Kevin's played expertly. To no surprise, getting Steven out of elimination was brilliant for a lot of people. So that's it. The viewers Billy also said, go Jason. The viewers seem to be loving it. I know as a producer, director, showrunner, I am loving it. You guys are doing a phenomenal job in the game. Post-production, you guys are doing amazing promoting, like living in the moment. And I think there's a lot of growth between you guys, being able to call each other out on each other's shit and keep it real and keep it pushing. So I really do appreciate that. That's been a really big thing for the Dre Media rebrand. We are a dysfunctional family, and brothers, sisters, cousins, we all fight all the time. So again, much love to everybody. Thank you to all the viewers, the loyal fans. I don't like calling you guys fans, the lower subscribers and supporters that are in here constantly every week showing love. Tootie, Jocelyn, Billy, Devontae, all of you guys, always,
Shout out to
always,
Danny.
always so much love. Cam, it's a pleasure getting to chat with you guys and getting to give you guys the behind the scenes. Again, thank you to you four for being here. I know it's late and it's a weekday, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Tune in every Sunday and Monday for episodes and recaps. I promise you the season is just going to get better and better. And I will say this right now on this live. I know the cast of 18 knows this, but for those who don't know, we did film season 18 over the summer. So 17's airing, 18's in production right now. If we get every episode from now till finale night on December 17th of 17 to at least 500 views each episode, we will finally get a Dre Media super trailer for 18. So if we can get that to happen, all of our subscribers, all of our talent, all of production, share, like, comment, and we'll give you guys a good treat. But that's all for tonight. Again, thank you for the love and support. Until next week, follow us on Instagram at dmp.series. Good night, fam. Love y'all.
Bye.
Right.
From the Bay.
Good night.